Hey guys, welcome to episode 7 of the Kill Feed podcast. I'm your host Tom Zor with my co-host as ever.
I'm Auric. What's up?
Auric the Oracle.
You can call me Owen if you want. I don't mind. I'm not fussy.
I'm just trying to make it a bit more specific.
Fair enough. Cool. There's a lot to cover today.
There is a lot to cover.
There's actually fucking loads to cover.
But not all of it is games that have been played.
By you.
Stop it. One day the Valorant beta will tell me that I'm in. But today is not the day.
A field of Valorant.
We'll get on to Valorant. Some of us will anyway.
Sure. Should we start with Overwatch like normal?
Let's start off with Overwatch like normal. So we've got a little bit of news. In-game news. Okay, so the Echo character will release on April 14th now. I presume that they will stagger the release into competitive like they have with all the others.
That's usually what happens, yeah. I would expect it to be... Isn't it normally like at
2
least
weeks?
2 days?
I thought it was 2
weeks.
I thought it was 2 weeks.
They just might as well not release her.
The thing is, they don't want to chuck her in and her break the game. But
nah, I know. Yeah, I thought it was less time than that, but if it's 2 weeks, then
I could have sworn it was 2 weeks. But anyway, they have announced some hero pool changes. The league and the actual developers themselves, sort of going on to what we said before, and that the both hero pools existing on the live game and in the league, it's very messy. Who can keep track of what's banned? They need to unify it.
Yeah, and with regards to pro players as well, if you need to practice like mechanics and stuff,
yeah,
then you kind of need it all to be the same, right?
Mm-hmm. It would mean that you're unable to practice personally without being in a scrim environment.
Yeah,
as ladder is completely different to what the pros are playing in the league. They released a statement saying, starting April 13th, we intend to address this. That's the pros not being able to play on ladder by having a single unified hero pool, allowing both the Overwatch League and competitive play to mirror each other as closely as possible and making a more consistent viewing and play experience. Here's how this will work. To determine a week's hero pool, we'll compile hero play rates from high-level competitive play matches from the preceding 2 weeks. Heroes with play rates above a certain threshold will be eligible to be removed. The higher their play rate, the more likely they are to be removed. Based on that, 1 tank, 2 damage, and 1 support will randomly be removed from play. Note that heroes will not be removed 2 weeks in a row. At the end of each Sunday's Overwatch League matches, as normal, we will announce the hero pool that will be used in the upcoming week for both live and competitive play and the Overwatch League. That pool will go into effect in the game Monday morning. This process will occur every week of the Overwatch League regular season. During weeks there are no Overwatch League matches, the same data will be used to determine hero pools, which you can find out Monday morning.
Okay, so basically starting from next week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for most people this will make zero difference, but for high-end play it will make a big difference. So I think it's a nice change.
I think it helps people that are invested in the game and the league because they don't have to then keep track of what's like able to be played and what's not.
Sure. And lower down it's going to have less of an impact because a lot of people play a lot of niche heroes in like lower tiers, and if they're taking it specifically from a higher tier, those heroes are less likely to be banned, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so basically it's just going to be like meta heroes going to get banned.
Yeah.
Most weeks.
I still think that doing it on a weekly basis is too short a time. And
I'd like to see them try it every 2 weeks, but
yeah.
I mean,
who knows? They might well revise it. I thought that this decision wouldn't come, certainly not this soon anyway. They obviously had a lot of feedback from the players.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It does.
Good job, Blizzard. Finally, actually, it's funny because hero pool seems to be something that they've like because Blizzard are really slow with making changes, right? Specifically with Overwatch. I don't know if this applies to their other games, but hero pool seems to be something that they've like tweaked like 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah,
and they're obviously taking it quite seriously. So maybe this is what they're doing in terms, like they're starting to ramp things up as they head towards Overwatch 2, getting used to more frequent updates and things like that.
Yeah, I think that'll lead on to something that we might well talk about later in their strategy.
Yeah.
Moving on to our predictions for last week, I had a shocker. I got the right result in 4 matches, but only got the right outcome. In 4 matches, but only got the Gladiators versus Fuel match scoreline correct. Owen, however, beasted
I smashed it.
You smashed it.
I got 6 correct outcomes, and 3 of those were perfect results, right?
Yeah. I'm amazed.
What a legend.
You even called the Fuel Valiant scoreline. Not just the outcome, the scoreline as well.
You called me Auric the Oracle. I mean,
what the fuck?
This isn't that was a galaxy brain fucking prediction right there.
That was a Giga Chad prediction. Would you like to...
I'm probably going to be awful this week, though, so...
Yeah, should we move on through the predictions for this week's
rapidly
matches?
Move our way through the predictions, and because there's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about. We have a big main point coming up, so... first match of the week, Spark versus Hunters. I feel like they've played each other every week now for like 3 weeks straight, but...
Yeah.
I've gone 3-1 Spark.
Obviously, solidarity with the Hunters. I've gone for 3-0 for the Hunters.
Is that you're just going to go that every? You have gone that every game.
Every Hunters game so far, I predicted them having a 3-0 win.
Wow.
I don't think they've had one yet. Maybe I'm the jinx.
No, they did have one. Remember, we both called it.
Yeah. I believe that they could beat the Spark 3-0.
Complete
Easy
blind
clap.
faith.
Easy clap. Yeah.
Following match, Titans versus Charge. We've both gone for 3-0 Titans.
Yeah, I think they're going to come out strong. Charge have been kind of a mixed bag, so...
I've noticed that they are playing the Chinese teams, Asian teams, if you like, this week. I assume that's because they've had to relocate to Korea, so to cut down on ping and things like that.
Yeah, noticeably, Spitfire still aren't playing this week.
Not sure why.
And NYXL, but then I suppose they're on lockdown still, aren't they? So.
Yep. Do you want to go over the next one?
Alright, yeah. Fusion versus Eternal. I'm surprised by your prediction, right? You've gone for 3-1 for the Fusion. I've gone for 3-2 Eternal. I just think Eternal are really strong.
Philly are good, man.
I know they're good, but I just feel like Eternal are just bopping.
I don't know. Eternal looked real bad against Houston in their first map last week. And then it all seemed to click for them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think this one could go either way. I think Eternal will put up...
It's going to be a good game. If you're going to watch a game this week, that's probably the one to watch. And also, there's one other later on that's probably worth watching as well. But, the next one's probably not worth watching at all because it features Boston Uprising.
I was waiting for you to say Houston Outlaws.
Well, Outlaws have kind of stepped their game up, right? Boston are still fucking garbage. So we've both predicted Outlaws winning 3-0. I can't see anything else.
I tried to remove my bias, but I am a Houston Outlaws fan, and if we do not clap them 3-0, I will be devastated.
I mean, imagine if Boston beat you again.
As long as it doesn't go to 18.
Boston
laps.
have already beaten you this season. Imagine if it happened again.
Yeah, all right. Some of us have actually played games, unlike you.
And we're still higher in the table.
All right. Cries in Dallas Fuel. Washington Justice versus Dallas Fuel next match.
You've gone for a 3-2 to the Fuel. I've gone for a 3-0 to the Fuel. Galaxy Brain incoming.
just
I
feel
think
like,
Justice have been shown up for not being that good recently.
yeah, they're on a bit of a downward spiral, really.
Yeah, they got beaten by Defiant last week.
No one gets beaten by Defiant.
Exactly.
Except Boston.
Yeah, true.
Would you like to introduce the next match?
Well, this was an easy pick because it's the Hunters versus Titans.
Yeah.
So we've both gone for a 3-0 win for the Hunters versus Titans. Obviously. What could possibly go wrong? We're definitely getting that one right.
I must admit, I think I fucked that up. Right? It should be 3-0 the other way, but oh well, let's go. Church of Amen. Jimu.
Look, when this comes off, you're going to thank me.
I'm totally going to play it down and be like, oh, you know, I knew. I just had a feeling about Jimu.
Yeah, I just knew it was going to happen. Ameng's going to absolutely like mentally boom Fisher and just destroy him.
You'd love to see it, wouldn't you?
Oh, I so would. All right.
That is something that I'm missing from these matches being played online, is actually being able to see the player reactions, and
it
feels way less
intimate.
intimate.
Does make a big difference.
Sorry.
Dragons versus Charge. We've both gone for a 3-1 Dragons win.
Yeah, Charge are basically a bad version of the Hunters now. I've decided.
Yeah, fair enough. I got no argument. So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Outlaws versus Defiant. I've gone 3-1. Outlaws.
I've gone 3-2 Outlaws. But if you lose against Boston, then I'm going to change that.
No, you can't. That's it. We're locked in now.
God damn it.
I want Linkser to play.
I know Defiant beat Justice.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Defiant just like super inconsistent. So
super bad.
Super bad. So I think Outlaws win that one.
I bloody well hope so. This next match, Fusion versus Atlanta Reign, it could be a fucking tasty one. To be honest,
it could be. Actually, Fusion could be playing like the two best matches of the week.
I've gone 3-2 Fusion.
I've gone 3-1 Fusion.
Baby Bay. He is a carry. That's the thing.
For Reign, I just think that Fusion have got more carry potential.
Oh yeah,
Fusion have got a higher peak than Reign.
Fusion have got a way higher peak, but Reign are consistent, like upsetters, you know.
Yeah, this is true.
Whenever they're backed into a corner, specifically always against NYXL, they just get the result, you know. And then they'll lose to like Justice next week or whatever.
Yeah, I think but yeah, I think we both agree that Fusion. Well, we do both agree that Fusion win.
Yep. Would you like to
this next
this one?
Yeah, this is the one that I said it was mentioned earlier that might be another really good game this week. And it's Shock versus Gladiators in a rematch from the like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Gladiators kind of clapped Shock last time.
Yeah. Much to everyone's surprise.
Basically, everyone like if Gladiators were winning that game, everybody thought that it was going to be close, but it really wasn't.
Nope.
But I don't think Shock lose twice. So I've gone. No, yes, I do. I just read my own prediction wrong. Tried to sound smart. I'm wrong. I think Gladiators win. So I think Shock does lose twice.
Disregard everything I've just said over the last 2 minutes. I've gone Shock 3-1. I'm gonna copy everything that you've just said and say that they don't make the same mistake and they won't get beaten twice.
I mean, I could be right when I'm wrong, but I think Shock are good, but I think this Glads team is really strong.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
There's 10 matches this week. They almost seem to be making up the schedule as they go along.
Yeah, it seems kind of strange. We've seen a lot of the same teams over like the last few weeks, but then I guess other teams are trying to manage the situation that we're currently in and trying to put together a setup that allows them to actually play.
Yeah, if you hadn't noticed, times are a bit weird. A bit strange out there.
Yeah. Stay inside and wash your hands, you fucking pricks.
Essentially, yeah. Just do that and try to get a Valorant key.
Couldn't be me.
I'm so upset. So upset. Should we move on to our
main topic for the day? Okay, so Overwatch Tier 2 is kind of like in an absolute state.
Yeah.
My Twitter timeline earlier this week was just Tier 2, Tier 3 Overwatch players saying goodbye. Here's my twit longer. Overwatch is bad. I'm moving on to like pastures new. Yeah, basically Valorant. So yeah, it's kind of quite a bad place to be.
Oh yeah. Mine was essentially the same. Of course, I think the first high-profile one that we both saw was Taimu.
Yeah.
Just pretty much saying, "GG's, thanks for everything. I'm done. I've had enough."
Yeah.
And who can blame him?
Oh, God, I wish more players just did that. I'm so sick of twitlongers.
I'm sick of the debate twitlongers as well.
That's why I'm sick of twitlongers. Because everyone's like, haha, funny joke, funny original joke, haha.
Like, here's my twitlonger.
Cares.
I'm staying playing Overwatch.
Your 10 followers are going to be totally debated.
Yeah. So, essentially, this is all down to Blizzard's handling of the T2 scene, or lack thereof. Contenders has been repeatedly shat on in terms of promotion, marketing which ties into promotion, funding, making sure that there's consistent streams set up, making sure that casters are given the right time schedules and paid accordingly, and that goes also on to the Overwatch League casters as well, which is why Monty's not there anymore, because he wanted his fellow casters to be paid the right money that they should be, and that for the league to focus on star potential rather than just the game and merchandising.
Yeah.
The scene, you're in an open division team, aren't you? You manage an open division team.
Yes.
Have you guys spoken about this at all?
I mean, everyone's kind of very, very aware that T2 is a mess right now.
T2 has always been a mess.
Yeah, I mean, it has, but yeah, I mean, everyone sort of knows that what state the game is. It's not particularly interesting right now. I think there are probably players that are sticking with Overwatch because they're sticking with the team. I don't think there's nothing in Overwatch right now to keep people in Overwatch.
No, and that will go on to our. I've got a few quotes here from a few pros or ex-Overwatch League pros or owners or managers and things to explain their thoughts on the situation.
Yeah.
But essentially, with the lack of investment, teams have just been folding. Players are having their heads turned because what's the point?
I feel like people that aren't in OWL are just really going to struggle to get into OWL now.
Yeah.
OWL seems kind of cliquey, where there are teams that have straight up fucking garbage rosters and players didn't lose their jobs.
And that hurts more, when you see that. This is why I took so much offense to the Chips assigning for Philly, because okay, maybe it's not because he's one of the analysts' brothers. Fair enough. Like, disregard that. He was signed because he has a following and he's a streamer, not necessarily just because of his potential as a player. There's players that have been busting their bollocks in contenders in the path to pro scene, if you like, for years now, and you just completely fuck them off and just go, look, he's got a following, we'll sign him.
Yeah.
It's that shit.
I mean, from his point of view, that wasn't his fault. I don't take offense to him, but Philly probably didn't handle that very well.
No,
because
they didn't.
They've signed him as a player rather than as a streamer, and I just don't understand that one because they literally have zero intention of playing him. Doomfist was played a lot last week, and they didn't play Doomfist.
Yeah,
they didn't play.
He was going to play. It would have been last week.
Yeah, and it didn't happen. He's not there to play competitively. He's there to stream, and that's fine. Just sign him as a streamer. Give someone else a chance.
That's it. Otherwise, what's the point? You just completely ignore the whole point in path to pro. I'm putting that in brackets because there is no path to pro. Yeah. You know, it's completely segregated itself. Overwatch League has now from everything else. And it's all down to the way that Blizzard have handled it.
Yeah. Do you know what I also think that moving to YouTube is going to be is even more detrimental for T2 and contenders in general? Because contenders didn't have a huge Twitch viewership, right?
No.
But that's kind of other esports do have reasonable Twitch viewerships for tier 2, competitive scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Overwatch's was never that great, but moving to YouTube, where your Overwatch League viewership is kind of halved anyway.
Yeah.
You're gonna have your 2,000 viewers. Maybe it's gonna be even worse than that. Do you know what I mean? Nobody's going to YouTube to watch contenders.
No, that's it.
They didn't even have contenders pages set up initially, did they? It was really last minute.
Yeah, that's always the way with contenders. They're always the afterthought. When it comes to hero pool, not engagement, rolling that out, I believe pros or whatever players didn't find out until a day before what the hero pool was.
Yeah.
How can you scrim with that information properly?
Yeah, I know.
That's always been the problem, is that it's always been an afterthought, and yet they try to, wherever they do promote it, it's path to pro. That's their big thing. That was their main philosophy, that you work your way up, from open division into contenders, and then from contenders you can get onto an Overwatch League team.
I think that the problem with the Overwatch League is that it's like any other franchise league. There's no relegation. So you have teams that come through OD. They basically Royal Road it. So if you go back to the OGN Apex Korean Overwatch tournament, and pre Overwatch League, and what is her name? Jisoo Busan.
Yeah.
Which had Profit and Gesture and basically half of the Spitfire team that ended up winning Season 1 Overwatch League. They Royal Roaded, or what they call it over there, the Royal Road, which is where they came basically from a feeder tournament. So, and then went into more qualifiers, qualified for Apex, managed to get through all of the rounds at Apex, win the grand final. That's what they call the Royal Road. And so now we see teams from OD, teams of friends and stuff that come together, set up a really good team. They manage to get some coaches on board, some a manager or something like that, and then they do really well. So they get into contenders qualifiers. Say they qualify for contenders. From there is nowhere to go.
No.
It's so unlikely that you get picked up for OWL. And I can guarantee you that there are at least 5 teams in OWL that would not win contenders.
Oh, absolutely.
So I know it's franchised, and the more I think about it, the worse I think that is. Purely from a relegation point of view, because the tier 2 scene struggles because of that.
Mhm.
So, like in the US, they have American football, right? That's a franchise league. There's no relegation.
Yeah.
But their tier 2 competition is essentially college football.
Yeah. So there's a massive drop in quality
it's
and
not.
everything.
It's not the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Like they have a draft, so every year, like a shitload of players from college football get drafted into the NFL.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in Overwatch. So your tier 2 scene, once you get to the top of tier 2, unless like a team decides to take a chance on a contenders player, that's where you stop. You don't. It's not a path to pro.
It's
in
not
any way.
No. It just sucks, and it's like, what's the incentive there? Like, unless you absolutely love the game, which is in a horrible state at the moment. It has been probably since Brig came out, and the whole meta shifted to the GOATS meta.
Yeah.
There's just been such a lack of investment in that game because they were so invested. Blizzard prioritized getting the league up and running, making sure that they had a replay viewer so that they could show that, get the game streamed properly so that they could show it from multiple angles, you know.
Yeah.
They were all focused on that, and the actual core game suffered so much that it's become so stale.
Yeah, I think that's the main problem, is that it's just insanely stale. From an individual player point of view, there's almost zero carry potential in Overwatch as well.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you play it as a team, let's be honest, like on a casual point of view, a lot of people want to play video games and carry. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like you want to get the like triple kill that wins you the round or whatever. You just can't, like, you can obviously do that in Overwatch. You can do it. It is possible, but it's just really fucking hard to do it. And if you play competitive, then everyone around you is basically on your level anyway, so it becomes even harder.
Yeah. Thinking about it, Golden Boy, your boy, he mentioned on his esports podcast this week that one of Overwatch's biggest problems is that when Blizzard set up the Overwatch League, they pretty much made it so that the other tournaments couldn't not coexist with it.
Yeah.
So Apex and OGN and all that all went out the window. So the scene pretty much transitioned from a couple of like tournaments and there's all these other events going on to just OWL. There's OWL and contenders, and that's it.
Yeah, that is a huge problem.
Yeah.
I've said this to you before. If they allowed other TOs to run tier 2, so say like each region had their own tournament organizers, it wasn't contenders. Like I guarantee you that T2 would start to thrive.
Yeah.
You would have LAN tournaments, like globally. You would see teams like say DreamHack, right?
Yeah.
There's absolutely zero reason why there couldn't be like an Overwatch scene at DreamHack. There used to be. Overwatch used to get played at DreamHack.
Or anything, you know? Yeah. The scene is just crying out for anything right now.
Yeah, LAN tournaments, online tournaments, like shorter tournaments. No, but like leagues just like
drag.
I know we see it in CS and I know we see it in other games as well, like, but league, like the Overwatch League goes on for fucking ages. It's so difficult to stay interested in a league that is like 6 months long when like all of your other favorite esports are like bopping out tournaments like every, you know, there might be a tournament like or a league tournament done within a month.
That's actually something I think that Call of Duty League did quite well, was that they listened to feedback from their audience. Well done, Blizzard, for like need to do that. Yeah, Activision Blizzard. Yeah, and they changed their format from a league format to more of a tournament-based one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think there's an in COD there's an overall league.
Mm-hmm. But each event is treated more like its own. Each event tournament.
Is like a tournament.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you have initial groups, and then you go into single elim knockout phase.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think OWL needs a big revamp. I think they need to change stuff with it.
Yeah. This all came about because the Montreal Rebellion folded.
Yep.
So all their players are now, except from Magnitude and Rocky, who I didn't realise were two-way players anyway, are back in the Defiant.
Back on Defiant's roster, right?
Yeah. Which is good, because I would not like to see them set free, but I suppose
you don't want to see anybody lose their job.
No.
But not for that type of reason anyway. If they're shit at it, then fair enough, but
certainly not.
Yeah. So it's interesting, you've listed the active and inactive contenders or tier 2 teams and their OWL owners, or parents, and that over half of the teams no longer have an active academy or tier 2 contenders roster.
Yeah,
over half. These contenders is so bad that Overwatch League teams don't give a shit about it.
I just don't see the incentive. There's no point in bothering. I'm going to look up now quickly what even the prize pool is for contenders from a team level. What's the incentive for them to compete for it? Sorry, I know this is a bit of a.
It's fine. You can cut this out.
This is ridiculous, by the way. Right. The Australian one prize pool is $100,000. Pacific $100,000. Korea $175,000. North America $175,000. The Gauntlet had higher.
That's so bad because that's going to get split between however many teams are in that region. Every team is going to get some of that money.
Yeah, there was 12 teams participating in those ones I just read out.
Bro, that is so abysmal.
And not just that, Blizzard are notoriously bad for paying contenders, players, and staff.
The amount of times that I have seen tweets and stuff that are saying still haven't been paid from contenders. Still haven't been paid from contenders. Bro, this is people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to pay someone.
It's not.
It's not fucking hard.
You are a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
Pull your fingers out.
There's literally no excuse. There's no excuse for being that bad.
They need to realise that without these players, these leagues and teams don't exist. So if you don't if you don't pay them, don't fucking bother.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I still stand by the fact that I think they would be better off just giving T2 over to someone else and revamping OWL.
Yeah.
I would rather see a knockout system in OWL.
It would make
even if it was a monthly thing. Do you know what I mean? At the end of when they did stage playoffs?
Yeah.
That was more interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
Because at the end of your 6 weeks or whatever it was, you had a little knockout system, and then someone won a big lump sum at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant that through different metas, every team had a chance of winning something. Whereas now, a mid-tier team, say Dragons, Shanghai Dragons, had really clicked on stage 3 last year.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning stage 3, right?
Yeah.
And they don't get that chance now. Shanghai Dragons just won't ever win OWL. They just won't win anything ever.
No, that's it.
That's the only thing they will ever win.
Like you said, without those stage playoff environments, who cares?
And knockout matches are inherently more exciting to watch anyway. That by design they're more interesting.
Yeah,
because there's the thrill of something like someone's going to get knocked out. Both teams are actively fighting to stay in a tournament to win it. Whereas in a league, it's just like, well, we can't get relegated, so it's like it's like the fucking Boston method, right? They can't win it, they can't get relegated, so why the fuck would they do anything?
Yeah,
they just have to.
Matter.
Yeah, they just have to sit around and lose every week, and probably pay their players like minimum salary.
Mm-hmm. Sell
a load of t-shirts because we're trying, we're the underdogs, we consistently hire pedophiles.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether they mentioned the Mufin thing, but basically, no.
Fuck Boston Uprising, they're a shit team.
I will say one thing though: if they knew about that for 2 months, they did nothing about it. Fuck that team.
They should, if they knew that, if they genuinely knew something about it for 2 months, they should disband that team.
How could they not be fined by a league for that? Or investigated?
So fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't want to get too caught up on it.
No. It's not worth the time. So let's move on to the quotes that I have for the pros and team managers and whatnot for this whole debacle. Hawk and Latter Rain main tank. Haven't seen a lot of Hawk, I don't think, this season, but he put on Twitter, "There is simply no reason for any DPS that is not signed to stay playing Overwatch. Every time I go to Twitch and put on a DPS player stream, there is around 50% or higher chance they are in queue, while there is a 100% chance they are not having fun. Brutal but true."
Yep. I wouldn't want to be high. I wouldn't want to play DPS in Overwatch. But certainly not at a high level.
Certainly not. Putting in the hero system, rip my door, sorry. Putting the hero pool system, not the hero pool system, the 222 lock system in, meant that
cucked queue times.
Yeah, especially for DPS. And I know they're looking at it, but if you have a game where people are streaming a different game, trying to find whilst they queue. So I'm playing Minecraft whilst they queue.
It's too fucking long. If people are playing marbles on stream while they're trying to get into a game, it's too fucking long.
Yeah. You need to bite the bullet, say this isn't working, and go back.
Yeah.
Numlocked. He said on Twitter, "Everyone wants out. Nobody is happy with what Blizzard are doing. COVID putting extra stress on everything. People want to get out of Overwatch League. Montreal Rebellion wasn't the first and won't be the last to pull out of OWC. Unless there are big changes, it is only going to get worse." I can see that a lot of players now are thinking, wish I wasn't tied into this contract anymore.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't on this year-long contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, if they were signed to a pro team in a different game, then maybe they'd be the same. But I don't know. Maybe contracts are shorter in other games because it's tournament by tournament. So maybe teams sign players on for a certain number of tournaments, and if it's not working out, they can move them. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how contracts work in other esports.
I'll be real. I think at the end of this season, regardless of what games are coming out, and we'll move on to that later, I expect to see a lot of player turnover.
Yeah. This actually, if you're really set on staying in Overwatch, this year might be a good year for you. If you're in contenders, because I think, we might see a lot of OWL players leave. Because
a lot of those players were signed on contracts that were 2 years with an additional year if they wanted it and whatnot.
Yeah.
So this would be the third year. That and the state of the game, the scheduling, and everything that's gone into it, I can see you're going to see a lot of your Sure-4s no longer playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be right
there. Tanizik? I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Sorry, that's the Montreal Rebellion. Well, was the manager /analysis for the Montreal Rebellion. Saying on Twitter, Montreal Rebellion got dropped. I'm moving to Valorant since Overwatch Tier 2 is fully dead. Can't even blame the AM/Toronto for making this decision, since getting 1k viewers max on the contender stream isn't worth any level of investment.
I can't argue with that. It's not. It's not, is it?
No. And maybe that's why Blizzard haven't put the time and money into it, because they don't see the they're not getting much back. Then what's the point? But at the same time, you kind of get in what you get out what you put in. You know, they've shafted contenders so much, so that I'm not surprised. And it's not just the players as well. I feel sorry for the casters now that have invested so much time in Overwatch and trying to make a career in Overwatch to get into Overwatch League. Where does that leave them if the Tier 2 scene just completely folds?
This is where I think like Overwatch is kind of clicky, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't see anybody new come into Overwatch. It's the same. It's been the same people since the start. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing necessarily, but I just feel like, I don't know, there has to be other people out there that are trying to do it. There has to be other people out there that can do it. And I don't know how much of a chance they're getting given.
No, I mean, the big one was Jules getting signed to Overwatch League.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah. I mean, Wolf and Achilles made sense coming from, a contender's background. But that is not necessarily something traditionally what Overwatch League has done. Maybe they were cheaper than any other talent they were willing to pay out for that were more higher profile. Not to shit on Wolf and Achilles, I think they're brilliant.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like you said, there's not a lot of fresh blood getting pumped in. It's always the same.
Same. I don't know.
Our last little quotey here before we move on to our next topic, which does lead into it, was former Houston Outlaws general manager Flame on Twitter. I could pay salaries for a tier 2 Overwatch team with no infrastructure, motivation, and very low potential return or investment. Or I can pay salaries for a Valorant team, get lucky, find a diamond in the rough, and set my footing early for a potential future league. While seemingly apparent death of NAT2 Overwatch is saddening, it's been 2+ years of the same complaints, feedback, and problems, and here we are almost 3 years later, where we can still safely say Alienware monthly melees and Calvin and the Chipmunks were the best timelines.
I mean, I can't argue with that.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Early Overwatch, like competitive Overwatch was so much better than current.
So hype.
Yeah. There's no, like, it's really sad because we both have been like huge fans of the game for such a long time.
Oh, I'm surrounded by Overwatch merchandise right now.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Philly Fusion t-shirt.
That you won from Poco.
Yeah. Yes, Poco. My boy.
And, but it's so difficult to stay interested in it. Like, I fully uninstalled the game from my PC. Like, I just can't play it anymore, man.
No.
It's so stale. And it's so unfun. Like, so many of the characters just give you have unfun abilities or ultimates or the whole thing is just fucking tiresome, man. I can't do it. The community, can we just talk about the community, like in the general community? Fuck off. Everybody is so fucking toxic in game. It's just like screeching little babies on a plane.
Yeah.
And you log into Overwatch and you're locked in the Overwatch aircraft for the next 3 hours of competitive, and it's just the screeching child behind you kicking your chair.
Why won't you play this? Why won't you do that? Don't do this. Do that. Nano me. Heal me. Why aren't you healing me? I've got gold limbs.
I've never had that from any other competitive game that I've been in, ever.
No, and I played Modern Warfare 2 religiously on Xbox 360 at its peak, and that was pretty toxic. Yep. Nothing compared to this.
Yep.
And still they do nothing about it. Oh, they introduced the reputation system.
Nobody cared about that. Nobody cared about it at the time. It was never going to make a difference.
Oh, what? Like, people that are, like, absolute trash are going to stop being assholes to people so they can get fucking loot boxes.
Yeah.
Really? Avoid his teammate you only have 2 slots.
Yep.
It's pointless.
Yep. It doesn't benefit anyone, does it?
No.
It doesn't benefit anyone.
That's systematic of the game, is that there's just so many things that handicap it, you know?
Yeah.
Because they haven't invested as much. You look at even the training, what is it? What's the training bit called on Overwatch? I can't remember what it's called now.
What, like the practice room?
Yeah, the practice
room.
Shooting
gallery or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Looking at Valorant, that's got more stuff in it already. This game has been out how long now?
Yeah, I know.
How long has this game been out?
What, Overwatch?
Yeah.
4 years? 5 years? I think it's 4.
It's been out for 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
5 years. They haven't. That is your base. Like, everything comes from that. Like, for content creators and statisticians, raw numbers and things like that comes from that. Looking at a bot and being able to like judge how far they're stood back by markers on the floor and how much damage it's doing by their health bar and stuff.
Yeah.
Just give them all the raw information there.
Yeah.
Valorant's got a shooting gallery. Valorant also lets you try out all the weapons and things like that, doesn't it? It tells you all the information.
Yeah.
Available.
There's a bot if you if you shoot at him, it will tell you the damage you've dealt and how many bullets you've hit to deal that amount of damage and stuff like that.
Why do we still not have that?
And you can set him at different distances, so you can check damage fall off and stuff.
Crazy,
isn't it? And then there's a target practice where you set you set a timer, and you can set it on different difficulty levels. And, it spawns bots in different locations, and you basically have to try and hit them. And it's and because they're character shaped, it's way more effective than having bots float around in very predictable movement patterns on Overwatch.
It's not surprising that it's turned people's heads. It was always gonna.
Yeah, for sure.
Should we just move on?
Should we move on? Let's move on to
Valorant.
Let's move on to the new, more interesting.
The new juice.
The new juice.
Valorant. Wow, it's been a bit of a week for that game, hasn't it?
Yeah, and should we just precede this by saying that when we first saw gameplay and screenshots and stuff, neither of us were interested.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, we were interested in it as a game, but when we saw it, we were like, oh, I'm probably not going to play that fucking game.
We were curious, but the the art style left us with much to desire, you know. And seeing gameplay, I'm in. I want to play this game. I won't be able to play this game. You've played this game.
I've played this game.
Let me just run down the week that it's had a little minute, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Because it nearly broke League of Legends record on Twitch.
Which is insane, by the way. That's an established game.
This game isn't out yet.
It's in closed beta.
It's in closed beta, and people will moan, oh, but there's drops attached to it. That's why they've had the amount of views they've had. Yes, but all other esports have used drops to improve their viewership. Okay? Overwatch League did it. Rainbow Six did it. Loads of others have done it, okay? You can't discount that. It has stayed consistently around 1.7 million viewers this week. It's insane. The hype for that game is off the charts.
Yeah, it is actually off the charts, yeah. I don't remember the last time I saw so many people excited about a video game, honestly.
Do you see more people moving from Overwatch to this game than Counter-Strike?
Yes. I do.
It's a tough one because
I think you will see some people go from CS, but I just think I played them both this week, and there's just something about CS that's just still inherently Counter-Strike, and you just can't get that feeling anywhere else. And I think that people that are really into CS are going to look at abilities and just be like, nah, I'm good, I'll see you later.
Yeah, and I think unless they see more CS players playing it, then they will show a bit more investment into it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of CS players talk about it and say that they've played it and that it was fun, they had a good time. But I don't think they're gonna switch it from high level CS pros are not even gonna flinch.
No, that's the thing. And why would they? You know, their game's doing great. It's probably had its best year ever.
Arguably, yeah. They've recently broken their peak player players at a single time.
Concurrence.
They've beaten that 3 times in the last 2 months.
And then you look at Overwatch. Chess had more people watching on Twitch the other day than Overwatch.
Yeah.
Shout to Chess.
Classics.
Watching the streams, I know we'll go on to your impressions from playing it, but so far I've only been able to watch the streams, and it's funny watching Counter-Strike players play it than people that come from an Overwatch League background, or Overwatch, sorry, because they're all, the Counter-Strike pros are slowly peeking around corners and stuff like that, and, you know, and XQC realised that he could throw a grenade on the floor and not take any damage himself, so he was using it to double jump up into the air and then hitting people. Mad.
Yeah. I think the more creative players will find things very quickly. I think there's a lot of potential with different abilities in the game. Yeah,
and I think that's where those two different things marry each other well, and there's a lot more room for creativity. Is that having the Counter-Strike precision shooting with abilities encourages creativity, you know?
Yeah. Well, this is going to be one of my points when I talked about my first impressions, was that currently aimers, I think, have an significant advantage.
Mm-hmm.
The one-tap potential in this game is insane, and so aimers are fragging hard, but people are as we get into the game a bit more, give it a couple of weeks, and people that are really skilled at using their abilities or combining abilities with teammates will find more creative ways to get frags, so aim becomes less of a carry. Aim will always be a carry factor, right? Even in Overwatch, aim is a carry factor. And it will still be prevalent in this game, but I think that as people get more used to abilities and how they work, they will start to use that to their advantage, and you will see top tier players that aren't pure aimers.
It's weird in a sense because the abilities that I've seen tend to lend themselves more to playing more. You can use them strategically as a team, but it seems to be more of a solo carry. Whereas in Overwatch, you have, because of the design of the game, in the sense that you have compositions and things like that, where you have tanks and DPS and support.
Yeah,
their abilities tend to work more together to perform combinations, and maybe it's just because people haven't got that down yet to be able to change things up and combine things, that they haven't done it yet. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with this game.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes, it is very fun. It's very frustrating because I'm not very good at it. And I think a lot of people are finding that people that had the CS background and stuff, I think people were expecting to go in there and be like, oh, I'm gonna frag the fuck out. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. You do have to have a handle on the abilities as well as have aim. But I do think that the abilities are more interesting than the guns in this game.
Yeah, that's the only negative I have from watching streams, is that the gun design. I know you can get skins and stuff, but all the default ones, it seems to be a bit hard to tell them apart.
Sure, and I actually mean in like what that is a good point, but I actually mean in terms of the like using them. I don't find that many of the guns that fun to play with.
Oh right, okay.
So there's a couple of guns that I think like there are guns that are effective in their own ways, but there's like one or two that are just much more powerful than other guns. Easier to control spray on and stuff like that. So maybe we'll see tweaks to those as time goes by, and that'll make it more interesting.
Yeah.
I one thing that I have enjoyed so far is that we have individual agents. They have different abilities, but they do come with their own personality, I suppose.
Yeah.
And while it's not as it doesn't go as deep as say Overwatch. Where you have their different voice lines and stuff, like you do get that from this game, but it's just not quite as deep. So it's kind of nice that they've gone down that route, because the people that are going to come over from games like Apex and Overwatch and stuff like that are gonna appreciate that in a big way.
I mean, it makes sense. I think there's not a load of voice lines in it because it is only a beta. You need to remember that.
Yeah, sure. I think we will see more, but I think the voice lines for abilities are cool, and the characters do interact with one another. Similar to like Overwatch, like when you're in the like waiting for the round to start and everyone's picking heroes and stuff, like, and characters will interact with one another.
Yeah,
like at random, like you do get that a little bit. And there's some nice kill lines and stuff like that. So I think they have gone down that route. And I think it's nice. It does work well.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to have a character-based game, because I mean, not just for merchandising, it makes your game more recognizable. You know? You look at the characters from Overwatch, you know that they're from Overwatch. Same for Apex.
For sure. If they tried to do a 5v5 competitive shooter, if they did this game with like no abilities, like it just wouldn't. It never would have taken off, right?
No.
Nobody would have been interested, because everyone would be like, yeah, but CS is the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They've done the right thing. I think the way that they've created the game, the way they created abilities for each hero, I think is nice. One thing that is very, very obvious is that the maps are a lot smaller and the rounds are a bit shorter than CS. And that means that the gameplay is very fast, or can be very fast. So while your movement's not particularly quick, like we've talked before, like in CS you have this build up to the like crescendo moment where like you plan an attack on a site.
Yeah.
That shit happens a lot quicker.
Which is good, because I mean, if you're playing 13 rounds or whatever, even from a point of being a viewer, it makes it more interesting round to round. You know, it doesn't drag. Have you had many bugs whilst playing the game, or has it been alright?
Nah, it's buttery smooth, bro.
That's good, because
that was the most insane thing. Actually, was like loading it up for the first time and just being like, "Oh hey, everything works."
Yeah. It was quite refreshing to see that. I watched a couple interviews with developers and things like that, and they were essentially saying like, please, it's hard to put something out when you feel like it's not finished, and a lot of our developers don't feel like their work is finished because they're quite perfectionists.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we need to put a beta out so we can start testing for things. So if you see things, please be kind. It's not the finished product, you know. Yeah. But it's so polished. I've seen like only one that I can think of off the top of my head, and that's someone trying to ADS, and the camera sort of clips through their gun whilst they're doing it. But
okay, I haven't noticed that myself, but
I think it was on an LMG or something.
Okay, I haven't really used those, to be honest. yeah, it's insane like how polished it is. There's some things that I still think I don't like about the game. Like I'm not that keen on the like the how the weapons spray, and maybe that's down to me not understanding the spray patterns very well.
Oh right, yeah, okay.
But this is why one taps are so strong, because once you go beyond your first couple of shots, I find that the spray on them is really like feels really strange to control. And maybe that's just because I'm coming from CS and they're different to CS. Maybe that's the only reason why.
Maybe, but at least you've got adequate practice environment to try that in, to test it out,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
get used to
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Compared to Overwatch, you're just sort of like keep playing games until it sort of makes sense to me, you know?
Yeah. Well, in the training lab on Valorant, there's a target that you can set at different distances, and you can shoot the target, and obviously your bullets leave marks, and so you can spray on it, and then there's a way to clear that, so then you can spray it again, and you can continually practice your spray patterns without having to and you can continually clear it, so then you can try different weapons and stuff like that, so you can test the spray and at different distances. So that's just like a really nice, like it's a really really basic feature, but it's a really nice feature. So yeah, that's just like another thing that game has going for it so far.
Yeah. I saw that 100 Thieves, well, you tagged me in this, 100 Thieves have announced the Invitational happening on 14th with 8 teams captained by some of the biggest content creators in the world. It's unaffiliated with Riot Games itself, but it makes sense if they can tap people up to create hype around 100 Thieves and the people participating in it.
Yeah, I feel like Nadeshot is 100% gonna have a team, 100 Thieves team for this. Like he's definitely setting a team up for this. I don't see any other thing happening.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And like getting like what from 100 Thieves point of view, getting a load of content creators to do a tournament under their name is obviously a fucking no-brainer. And Riot are just not going to stop this, are they? This is like the most hype free content you can have for like from their point of view.
It's unaffiliated with them, but they're not.
But they're not going to stop it, are they? They're going to be like, you can do that. That's fine.
Technically, to stop it, but exactly, there's no downside to them doing this for their point of view.
Oh yeah, 100%. And is that like because obviously we're seeing esports already, right? Like I know this is like not that serious, but this is esports, so yeah. The one thing that I noticed immediately was you click on custom game on Valorant, and it just like there's the lobby straight there. There's you basically just have to select a map. You put the teams in. There's slots for observers, and you're away. That's it. You don't have to like mess around with any of this. That's it. It's so simple, and it's just like it's just there straight away. They know exactly what they're doing with this.
Yeah.
So it's just like these little touches that you just know that they're just like whatever the finished version is that comes out is going to be like so fucking polished.
That's it. That's Valorant.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on CS?
Yeah, I'll quickly go through this. So the ESL, EU, and NA's tournaments coming to an end this weekend. So the world number ones, Navi, are out. They lost against Fnatic yesterday. So Fnatic are in the grand finals, and in the semis, the other semi is Mouse Sports versus Astralis to go up against Fnatic in the final. And they played yesterday, and Astralis beat Mouse Sports 16-3 and 16-1.
Ow.
So I feel like we might see another repeat of that when the semis happen tomorrow. And then in NA, the lower bracket final already has Furia taking one of the slots, and in the upper bracket we have EG versus Liquid. So whoever loses that plays Furia to play the winner of the upper bracket final again in the grand final.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot going on in Flashpoint, so I don't. There's too much to run through in Flashpoint. They're basically doing the playoff quarterfinals at the moment.
Right. Okay. We have ran long. I know.
Yeah, we've run pretty long, so we're trying to wrap it up now.
There's one last thing I did want to mention is that because of the whole coronavirus and COVID-19 pandemic that we've been experiencing at the moment, traditional sports have had to obviously suspend their leagues and whatnot. And esports have benefited massively from that, obviously, because they're being able to be played remotely online. For the first time in its history, League of Legends Championship Series, LCS, will be broadcast on ESPN. So prepare yourself for a lot of tweets.
What is this that I'm watching? Oh, these video games and these young children.
What are these nerds doing on my ESPN? I want to watch some football. Fair play.
ESPN's actually shown a lot of esports, because they've shown a lot of e-racing. So we've seen NASCAR and Formula 1 esports.
Yeah, that's all
happening
kicked
on
off.
ESPN as well, which is kind of crazy.
With massive numbers as well, particularly for that NASCAR one. I thought I saw 400,000 people watching it or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's because most of them didn't fucking realise it wasn't real. Honestly, cars just drive round in a circle. Stop it. It's not. It's not fun.
I don't know.
There is literally zero right turns. Zero.
Imagine that, but if they dropped the ball on the track every now and again, just played Rocket League.
That'd be so hype.
I live for IRL Rocket League. One day that'll become a thing.
Yeah, I believe. Alright, cool. I think we've covered everything we wanted to cover.
It's like 23 degrees, and I've got all the windows open. So I'm sorry for any background noise, but I am very tired as well. But yeah, I believe that is everything.
Alright, nice one.
We shall catch you again next week.
Right,
if you would do us the honour of following us on socials at Killfeed Podcast, leaving a review, anything like that, subscribing, tell your nan about us, anything.
Yeah, even if you don't like it, tell us why you don't like it.
Yeah, any feedback is always appreciated.
For sure.
We will catch you again next week.
See you next week.
Bye.